Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. It's DeFi Kingdoms AMA live stream. It's June. It's June. It's the end of June. It's June 27th. June 27th. And thanks for joining us. Let's jump right in here with a couple of updates. So got those updates here for you. Let's see. First off, the summoning cooldown goes into effect tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time, so don't forget about that. Do what you got to do. If that means summoning now or not summoning now, it's up to you. It's not financial advice. It's up to you. Next, Mythic Squad Tournament Championship over the weekend. Congrats to Just Crypto. Way to go. Winning the whole thing. I also am kind of a big winner because I won a pet and a Vizzy fishing rod. So looking forward to the next one. Keep that up, Mythic Squad. Thank you. Also, I think the Gooses are supposed to be planning something cool as well. So it's when Goose tournament. When's that going down? Moving right along in the updates. Next, we've got the Frost Bloater Vizzy, which is I'm going to do the finger quotes. You can't see it. The coolest Vizzy. I'm going to try to figure out how to do a giveaway in this AMA. It looked pretty easy, but if I mess it up, my bad. But I'm going to try to give one of those away in this AMA, so bear with me. Biz dev update. So we don't have Sunbear or Dreamer today. Dreamer is literally on a plane, so he is getting business done. He's developing business on a plane right now. And Sunbear is going to be hosting a Twitter space today, so please listen to that Twitter space later. No reason to go looking for it now because you're in this one, so stay in this one. Just a heads up to everybody, we are probably going to skip the AMA next week. It's a US holiday, and yeah, I don't know, we might just skip it. We might not have anything going on, and we'll just give you guys a break. Which actually reminds me, I'm not Bolon, I'm Winston. Bolon is doing a long trip across the country, and based on what I saw, he's touring all of the worst states. So if you see him in one of the worst states, say hi to Bolon. And keep moving right along. So next week we're hoping to have Duel Season 8 start, and also before that, currently in New Mexico. That's like the fourth worst state. Sorry to New Mexicans.
Throwing shade.
Well, have you been?
I have, and
okay.
I had some really good Mexican food there, but
I bet their food is all right. I didn't stay for too long, but it
was Mexican food or New Mexican food?
Yes.
Good
a little
answer.
bit of column A, a little bit of column B. So Duel Season 8 will start next week, and we're planning to drop the crowns. So let's do Season 7 winners. We'll get those crowns before that, hopefully. And that's it for my updates. I'm actually going to turn it over. You may have noticed someone you haven't seen up here in a little while. Dr. Zipper is joining us today, and he and Hubert are going to spend a few minutes here, probably what do you guys think, 25 minutes? That's a joke. 5 or 10 minutes.
Works for me.
5 or 10 minutes talking about expeditions. So take it away, guys. Good luck.
Thanks, and thanks for having me. I didn't realize it was just going to be the three of us today. It's a small little group, but it's a cozy one.
Intimate is the word you're looking for.
I was refraining from that particular word, but sure. So yeah, we're here. We've got some expeditions on the horizon. I'm going to try to make sure I actually say expeditions correctly every time and not some other close by word, which is what I always end up saying or typing, because when you say it too much, it just kind of loses all meaning. But we've got expeditions, getting kind of close. I know there've been some questions about how the development of that was going. It's been a very, very long process, as I'm sure you're all aware. A number of months ago, we dropped a little teaser in Discord that the design document for expeditions was, what was it, a 75-minute read, I think, or something like that. So, you know, it took a long time to just do the design, to write out all of that, to get things, you know, kind of figured out. And then we set Magnus loose on the contracts, and that's been a really big ordeal. It's like rewriting all of the quest contracts from scratch again, in a lot of ways. And so he's been super hard at work on those for a good while now, while you know, still managing the chain and doing all sorts of other little tasks and smacking down bugs and all those other things as we find them. And then I think many of you probably know that I got started on the front end for Expeditions a little bit ago. And that's been coming right along as well. At this point, I'm really just kind of buttoning up some last UI things and making stuff look real pretty. Getting the information that you need out where it needs to be, and, you know, really getting things finalized. So at this point, I think, you know, Winston's planning on digging into some real serious testing pretty soon. You know, I've been testing it a little bit as it's been going along, but he's going to dig into all the big things and find everything that we missed, which is pretty exciting. And so, yeah, it's totally bug free, SPD. I mean, you know, we hope, but, you know, we've written a lot of tests, and, you know, in theory, it's working pretty well. But, you know, Winston's gonna find stuff, and I hope you find all of the stuff.
That's not true.
your
It's going to be
job.
perfect. It's going to be perfect. I'm
Good.
not going to find anything. It's going to be great.
That's what I expect. The very best, or maybe the second best. I don't know. So yeah, I'm not going to put any timelines on that directly, but you know, we're getting close enough that we can start talking about a few things. So I think maybe today we're going to go into a couple little details about some of the stuff that you can and cannot do with Expeditions. And I don't know, Hubert, do you want to jump in and talk about some of those things, or do you want me to keep going?
Sure, I can hop in here. And I guess, yeah, just also noting, kind of adding on with the code, thousands and thousands of lines of code have been written by Magnus on there. I've been, you know, I tend to review most of the contracts as a part of the process of us getting it out, and this one has been a tough one to get through just because there's so much, and it, you know, everything's interconnected, so you like to really review everything. It's like, okay, let's go look at this contract, this piece of code. All right, does that mix with this and that and the other? It's very involved, and a great piece of work by Magnus, and, you know, really excited to get across the finish line. And I guess one thing to mention is that due to the scope of everything, we are planning on doing this release in 2 phases. So there will be kind of the initial expeditions that will come out, and it will just be missing one particular feature. And I think there will probably be some optimizations that will mix in as well in the process of getting to the second stage. But the second stage will likely be somewhere after we've at least launched PvP, because we're going to be turning Magnus's attention to that for the time being once we get that released. So but yeah, as far as like things that you'll be able to do with Expeditions, so we're going to be starting with 3 different power-ups that will be for Expeditions. There'll be a 4th one that will be on that phase 2, which I'll talk about. The first one is just the power-up to just let you do Expeditions at all. That's going to be at a rate of 10 C Joule or S Joule for 30 heroes to gain access. So a much smaller rate than like what you do for any of the other, like Quick Study or the other ones that are like on a per hero basis. So that power up will be necessary, and any hero that is signed up for that will be allowed to do Expeditions. And then there will be a fee and jewel associated with doing Expeditions as well, which I won't get into the fee, what that is exactly, but it's a charge at a per stamina used rate, and it's like you pay up front, and then it any amount, like you can always cancel up an expedition in advance of it, like say you do it for a month and you want to finish it 2 weeks early, that extra 2 weeks that you didn't do, you'd get refunded back whatever that amount would be. But So it's kind of set up in that way. And so if you have the power up, you have the hero assigned, then you just escrow the fee, and then your heroes are basically good to go. They're doing the expedition, whatever quest it is. We have it set up for all of the current quests that are available right now, all the profession quests, skill 0, skill 10, as well as the training quests are available to be done. And then we have 2 additional add-on power-ups that are just kind of global power-ups for your wallet. The first is an auto pet feeding power-up, which will just add that functionality in to ensure that the pets of your heroes will stay fed during that time. You'll also need to escrow pet food for that. So there'll be kind of functionality around that. That one will be 100 C jewel or S jewel. So it's you have to activate it per chain, but that applies to the entire wallet. It's not like a per hero basis for that. So once that's activated, you can use it. And then the other one is a auto stam potting power up, and I believe I should probably double check this because I am gonna get my numbers mixed up. I believe that one's gonna be 300. If either of you
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, good. Phew. Yeah, so that one's 300 C jewel or S jewel. It will allow you to escrow in your stamina potions for that team, and it'll just consume all of the stamina potions at the most efficient rate to do that. So help you do sort of power leveling things. It would be more efficient than manual questing because it just handles all of that logic immediately. There's no needing to spend a transaction to consume the potions or anything like that. It just kind of happens as a part of the whole loop. So it's by far the most efficient way to do that. And let's see, there's another nuance about that. It only works for the kind of instantaneous quests. So for fishing, foraging, and training quests. So there won't be stamp potting available with the gardening or mining quests. So yeah, those ones will be available when we release it. Then the third one that won't be available will be an auto level up feature. That one is a little bit more complicated, and we just decided we could kind of detach it from this to ensure that we get this out sooner rather than later. And that one, I'll at least say, the planned power up level on that is going to be 200 C jewel or S jewel. And it will, when it's available, it'll allow players to kind of escrow in all of the resources they need for a level up, save the settings for that level up. And they can do it not just for the next one, but you could do it for the next 10 if you wanted to. It would, as you're doing expeditions, it would just automatically level them up during that moment when they reach max XP. So unfortunately, that won't be available up front. So kind of what will be the case is if your heroes reach maximum XP and you want to level them up, you would just need to pull them out of the expedition and then level them up and then put them back in. The other nice thing about how we've set up the expeditions is a full iteration is considered from it starts at full stamina and then it ends at full stamina. So when you pull your heroes out of an expedition, it'll give them you would be able to process as many quests as they would be able to have done up to that time, up to the point where they reached full stamina. So when you pull them out, they'll be at full stamina. So that also allows you to if you're using some teams for void hunts, you'd be able to pull them out, do void hunts, and then put them right back into expeditions again. The system doesn't care if they're at full stamina or not when you put them in. So you can even though you use stamina to do void hunts, you can put them back in and it'll just know when they actually start doing the next iteration. And when you pull them back out again, it'll have done as much as they could have done and be at full stamina when you pull them out. So it should make it very convenient to, even with your heroes that use for void hunts, you can be using them also in the expedition system. yeah, so that's kind of how that all works. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a lot of information, but hopefully that kind of covers, kind of the nitty gritty nuts and bolts of all of that. I don't know if I missed anything. I don't know, Zip, if you have anything else you want to add.
Sure, just a couple little things, I guess. I mean, and first off, we will definitely be doing some write-ups, as we get closer to launch, to make sure that all of this information is clear and accessible. So I guess one other little technical nuance that I did want to mention is that expeditions will, for those attempt-based quests, so the fishing, foraging, trading quests, they will ignore the additional stamina time per hero, or not stamina time, the additional duration time per hero. So that means that these expeditions will be more efficient than what you can do with regular questing, regular manual questing, which is pretty exciting. So that's one little thing. Then one other thing I just wanted to mention about the auto leveling and the phase 2 part is that one reason that that also gets delayed, maybe or split into a second phase, is because it does have some important overlap with some of the plans for Divine Essence that we've released. So makes sense to develop those things in parallel once we get to that point, I think. So it's just one of the reasons to not have to write it and then have to rewrite it again once we get to that point. I did see a couple questions in chat. One is, are there new rewards, or is it just sort of a long quest system? And Bolan answered that. And at some point we may have different rewards or different kinds of quests, especially once we get into have a travel system and different things are available in different places. But for now, this is just a way to make questing more efficient and easier. And Hubert, you're going to jump in on what I just said.
Yeah, I'm finished what you're going to say. If you have anything else, I just unmuted because I do have more to say. But...
Okay, sure. Yeah, well, I was just going to answer the other thing that Bolan jumped into, was will it be available on Holiday wallets? Yes, it will be available on Holiday wallets, and the plan also is to launch on both chains as well. Now I'm done.
Okay, so yeah, the Bolan reminded me that there were a few other points that I didn't mention, and you kind of alluded to. I guess you started to go down that direction with one of your comments, Zip, is like in terms of like efficiencies that are gained with this system as well compared to normal questing. There will be no for fishing, foraging, training quests. There will not be a queue limit like there is right now, or you can have only 10 on normal questing. So for hero players that have a lot of heroes on a lot of and like are kind of reaching their max of how much they can queue right now, that won't be an issue to do on a single wallet with this system. And everything runs on its own timer, so there is no I think is kind of what you said. There's that as far as like the timing goes. Like right now, if you were to queue up 6 heroes, it would look at how much time it would take for each hero to do all of their iterations, and that's like the whole time it would take for like fishing and foraging. Instead, it's going to just be like how much time does it take just to do, like if you're doing five fishing iterations at a time, like that's what, like a minute 40 seconds. So I think it'd be like a minute 40 times 6 is how it is in normal questing. This is just going to be a minute 40 seconds per set. So each hero is considered fishing individually on their own rather than as a group, in terms of like how much time it goes. And then there is no like each group themselves are not like running behind each other. So all of them can start at the same time, finish at the same time. That like all the nuances of a queue go away when it comes to that. So it's going to be far more efficient that way. And then with gold mining, there will be no limitations on how many groups can be gold mining at a time, and also there's no queue either. So each group is just running on their own timers, regardless of what other timers are being done. So there won't be a need for any sort of multi-walleting mining approach either with this. And for token mining, that's still going to have limitations, and it's also going to have limitations tied to normal questing as well. So if you have any heroes doing normal token mining, you wouldn't be able to send any to do expedition token mining, or vice versa. You can only do one or the other, and that one does have a limit of 3 groups at a time can be doing that. With gardening as well, it has the same type of system. For each pool that you're in, you can only send 3 groups at a time. They do still run on their own timers without caring about a queue, so you don't need to worry as much about that. They'll just run for as much stamina as you want them to run, and per iteration, and then recover to their full stamina, then run it again, and so on. And we will also be adding an unlimited gardening pool that is not tied to any LPs, but you'll still be able to get the minimum, the minimum amounts that you can get from gardening quests as if you had no LPs in the pool, and that one won't have any limits on how many groups you can send as well. So that unlimited pool can be like if you have a ton of gardeners, and not in every LP, you will be able to still consolidate all your gardeners into one wallet and just send them in that pool. So yeah, I mean, I like a lot of this. I mean, I see people making comments about like infinite gold supply and things like that. It's really just taking what can be done right now, where right now people can multi-wallet. They can send groups of miners to a bunch of different wallets and just gold mine, and get the same effect. It's just a lot more tedious to do, but it is possible. So this is just making it like reducing that TDM down to a minimum, and you can do that get that same effect but on the same wallet. But it would be within the expedition system, you'd have to have them all signed up to do expeditions. There's a fee associated with it, so it's it has some trade-offs, but it's not really adding that, like, it's as far as what is currently possible, it's not really changing much in that regard. It's just far less tedious, is would be kind of the result at the with a fee. So so hopefully that makes sense. And let's see, I guess on the note of gold as well, I mean, we do have a lot of plans for additional uses for gold coming up with PvP, with when it comes to equipment and durability systems and things like that. So if that is a cause for concern for people, that it seems like that may mean that there's more gold coming in potentially. I think we're also planning to have more gold sinks coming as well, just as a part of this whole thing. So yeah, anything else you want to add, Zip?
Sure. Yeah. Just last thing that I have is that we've been doing some tests and calculations of gas usage with expeditions, and they are much lower than the amount of gas that you would use for regular manual quests. And so I think we're all pretty excited about the potential savings there.
Right. Yeah, I expect. I mean, it's going to depend on how many people use the system, but with expeditions, you only need to do like one start transaction, and then after that point, you can just go in and claim whenever you want, as like within the duration that you've sent them. And like you just claim rewards, but they'll still be doing the expedition. You can just update how much they've gotten so far and their experience and everything. And then there's really just at the end of all of that, then you pull them out at that point. So like as far as like it kind of has a middle transaction that you do, and that middle transaction is we're designing it to be as efficient as we can make it. And right now I think there's it's a lot. It's hard to, like, I don't know the percentages, but I think it's maybe about 4 times more efficient right now I think that efficiency kind of varies depending on like how long you send the groups. But I have all, also in our review and how we've been building the contract, there's some things that I think we can work towards doing that will make it even further efficient, even more efficient than that. But it's a pretty complicated chunk of code. So we're looking at what we can do. We're definitely, Magnus, like said, he felt like we were pushing the boundaries of what is possible with Solidity with this. There's a lot of things that you have to be aware of when doing smart contracts. There's stack limits of how many variables you can be using at a time. There are contract size limits. You can only have a contract like 24.6 kilobytes per contract. And then there's like a lot of gas considerations in terms of like if you have to have the code kind of jump from contract to contract, that can add a lot more gas as well. So we have plenty of new contracts that are like right up against that contract size limit. And we're doing a lot of new things that we haven't done in the past just to like try to optimize as much as possible with this. So it's a pretty significant amount of smart contract work, and it's pretty impressive what we can do. But even with that said, I think we can go even farther, but it'll probably take us more time, and we'll have to see if it's worth the amount of time it would take to do that too. So, yeah, that's a lot to say about expeditions.
Sure is.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Did we hit our 25 minutes?
20. Yeah, you did actually.
Nice.
You did. I think it's like maybe like 23 and a half if you don't count my intro thing.
I mean, we can go for another 90 seconds if you want, just so we hit that. And,
we'll call it good.
You're good. Okay.
Yeah, we'll call it good. There you go, everybody. That's your giant, I guess, mini expeditions dump. We're gonna do another one of these, like a round table similar to. What did we round table before? Was it Divine? It was Divine Essence. Yeah, that's what it was.
Divine Essence.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have a similar round table that'll probably be just as detailed
or maybe we don't need to now. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe
we explained everything. Everyone here is they all remember, right?
Yeah, definitely. You all took in all the details.
So yeah, maybe if there's like one more good expeditions question, we could take that. I don't see any in the chat, but if somebody has one, we can take that. Also, I did figure out how to make the wheelie spinny giveaway thing work. So put Frosty in the chat to get in the drawing for a Frostbloater set after this. So throw it in the chat. I just put it in there so you can see exactly what it should look like. No hashtag, nothing like that. Boom. Okay, we got 2. Great. I'll mention that again, throughout, just so that we don't forget to do it. Cool. So let's move on to the questions portion of our AMA today, the asking of the anything. This first question is, it looks like this is going to be a Beetle question, and I think we're just gonna pop this right on his list because this seems like a pretty good idea. Any chance of adding a % indicator in the health and mana bars? So this is going to be in your void hunts. You can see if your boar is at 51% or 49% and so on. So we think that's pretty cool, and we'll see if Beetle can work through that one.
Mostly I'm just really excited about the fact that I'm here and Beetle isn't, so we can say to put it on Beetle's list instead of my list.
That's right. In fact, if you want, you can be the one to say it. This because we have another one here. This is another one for Beetle. Option to toggle screen shake effects during hunts, and so I think that would just apply to any of the movement effects like healing, any of that stuff. Doesn't sound too crazy to me, but there's one thing we can do with it right now.
Yeah, we can put it on Beetle's list.
Boom. It's on the list. Thank you, Dr. Zipper. Next is a request. So it's a request for a feature, and this one's for Zipper to be able to turn on pending reroll heroes in Barkeep. You can see them in the tavern, but you can't toggle them on in the Barkeep.
Yeah, I think we should be able to see those heroes in the Barkeep regardless. I don't think we necessarily need to even have a toggle for that. That was there for a very specific reason for the tavern, but I think it would be just fine to to have them all show in the barkeep. So I will put that one on my own list. And in fact, I actually did already.
Sweet. On the zip list there. Okay, so the next question is actually a UI question. This is probably a Beetle Dude question as well. It was kind of answered a little bit in Discord in the chat, but can we have a select all basic, advanced, elite, transcendent genes within a certain category at once? So this would make it very easy in the filter to select each of these sets of things at one time, and sounds like a great idea. It's kind of a medium lift from a designy buildy perspective, but I think we want to do that, and we are going to put that on Beetle Dude's list of things that he might do. Great idea, great suggestion. This next question is going to be for Hubert. I'm trying to get my bowl on Hubert. He kind of hits the beert. Hubert hits it really funny, so I'm trying to get that going. Would it be possible for a channel to target an empty position? For example, an archer channeling on a back row before Mama Bach lays an egg there.
Possible? Sure. Are we going to do it? Probably not. It kind of goes into the, do we want Final Fantasy 1 vibes, which has things where if your target dies before you hit it, your attack fizzles, things like that. I know this is asking for the reverse of that, but if we were to do that, I'd probably want to do the other thing as well, which would make channeling a double-edged sword, and I don't really want to do that, so I don't think we will do that.
Yep, there's your answer. Probably not gonna do that anytime soon. Thanks, Hubert. This next one is for Hubert as well. I know Hubert said that level 20 and 30 will not be available with PvP, but and the reason for that was level 20 combat skill or level 25 combat skills. But what about level 20 to 24? Maybe that'll become available.
I'm having a hard time focusing with all that Huberting you're doing there.
Sorry about that.
Hubert.
So
I'll roll it back a little bit.
No, I mean you can keep doing it. It's funny. It's just I have to control myself. To do levels above level 20 means releasing the next rune, which is a whole thing. I wouldn't want to rush to do that, just because some people are reaching the max at this point. I think there's an appropriate time and place, and I think it should come with the complete functionality rather than it being out. But there's a caveat: you only get to level up to this point, and then the contracts just won't let you go further, even though you have the runes for it. I appreciate that people are getting to max level. Perhaps, I think that will be helpful for PvP. I think that will also be helpful for, if you want to get a good chunk of Divine Essence and greater Divine Essence for them, you could potentially burn those when that system is out. Because I think, in terms of the multiplier that we talked about with that, there will probably not be too many level 20 heroes out there that are getting burned. So a lot of them will be able to get the 5 times multiplier. So there's potential there if that's a direction you want to take. I know burning a level 20 hero is not something to be taken lightly, for sure, but that's an option. And we are also looking at different things that can be done in terms of additional benefits for void hunts for level 20 heroes that are at their cap as well. So I think, there will be things to tide you over, but I really don't want to do some half measure when it comes to increasing the level cap. So I don't think we're going to do anything other than, when it happens, it'll be the full thing.
Cool. Great. Yeah, thank you for that detailed and wonderful answer. I was just only half listening because I was looking to see if there were any maniacs out there who had dark summoned level 20 heroes. I'm sure there probably are. I can't find any immediately in the tavern, or excuse me, in the barkeep, but I bet you crazy guys are out there.
They better not be in the tavern, otherwise we have problems.
Yeah, they're not. They're definitely not in the tavern. Moving right along here. Don't forget to throw Frosty in the chat if you haven't yet to get a shot at winning that Frost Bloater set. Kudos to SBD on that one. That is just a beautiful, horrifying thing. Like I don't know. Like I'm scared and I love it. It's like it's a weird feeling. Feels good though. Okay, moving along. We got the next question. After the fantastic stream of the Mythic Squad Void Hunt Tournament 2, I'm wondering if it could be possible to change the UI display of the time bar, thinking about putting it below instead of where it stands right now. Thinking about stream visibility. Anyway, congratulations to everyone involved. For sure, congratulations to everyone involved. What a great event. So we kind of talked about this internally, and we think that there's room, not necessarily to like move it permanently, but maybe add some toggling features, where you could toggle it to be somewhere else or smaller, or maybe just disappear entirely. So we're gonna put that on the Beetle Dude list and start thinking about that a little bit. So definitely not a soon thing though.
And I'll just mention it's we're for not the for sure do it list, but the let's think about this list, because it could have some just implications of a lot of different things, and we'd have to see how involved it would be to do so.
Yep. So moving right along, here's our next question. This is going to be for Hubert. I have a question about it's getting highlighted as I look at it. All right, well, I'm just gonna read it anyways.
Sorry.
It's okay. I have a question about the future of PvE in the lore of DFK. I love where we're headed with PvP, but it seems to me that what keeps players within a gaming ecosystem is seasonal PvE content, solo or cooperative. Are there plans for DFK to have more of a traditional game development cycle where new seasonal content is released on some cadence? There's a little bit more here, but I think you got the gist of it, Hubert.
And I understand that sentiment. So far with our development, we are working on some pretty big chunks of the game design right now, and to do something like seasonal content does require a good chunk of focus if it's anything beyond like what we've done so far with there being seasonal equipment that is dropped from the void hunts. I do see us eventually getting to a point where we are doing kind of more seasonal things, where we have what as we've been calling the scrub fight system out, and we have a lot more just PvE content available. Then it becomes easier for like, after we have all these other things we're trying to do, traveling and land functionality, crafting, like when that's all done and the dust is settled, and the core features of the gameplay loop are all in place, I think then it does become just a generational content creation for us. At that point, we're just adding more to the scrub fights, adding more places to travel to, adding more things that happen or that you can do, like dungeons and whatnot. At that point, I think we will see a lot more being done, and in that regard of like some seasonal things. But until we get there, I think just with the bandwidth that our team has, it would probably be asking a bit too much to like have us need to like have cycles of generating seasonal content. So just unfortunately, that's just the reality of what we can pull off with the team and the resources we have right now. It's always possible that could change. We're hopeful that PvP will be a big thing for us, and if we are able to increase our resources and do things like that, then we can maybe speed things along a bit more than our pace right now. But for the time being, I want us to be able to do that. It would mean delaying too much other things right now. So yeah.
Okay. Yep. Sounds like it's coming, but not anytime soon. So let's just keep that in mind. Next question is going to be for me. Whatever happened to the I'm going to say this wrong. No. Whatever happened to the AVAX? I always say it wrong. Avox. It seems so weird to pronounce it that way. Whatever happened to the Avox incentives for the Avox pools? So those were in agreement made in pre-hack and bull market times, and it was actually based on matching the delivery of the value of the pools. And when things changed, it was really no longer viable. So there's your answer. Based on market needs and terrible things happening, it was no longer viable.
And the fact that nobody has $15 million anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The
Also,
next
side note, just watch out for avalanches when you're out in the snowy mountains.
Thank you.
It's an important warning, really.
It is. For Sashay. Where's he at? He's probably climbing a mountain right now. So the next question, I'm going to read it, but we're probably not going to answer it because it's going to be more of a tokenomics discussion. But with the introduction of Divine Essence and Greater Divine Essence, Hero Power is being introduced. What other plans are there in store for Hero Power? And they go on to list a few examples of making a hero more powerful in voting, maybe, or airdrops or whatever. So a lot of cool ideas. It's something we're still fleshing out. And yeah, Hubert, feel free to talk on that a little bit.
Yeah, so I'll note that we did bring up the possibility of using hero score for doing voting power, but the reality of it is that it's not very compatible. Like, hero score is designed to go all the way up to level 100 heroes, and like a level 100 Dread Knight's hero score gets very, very high. I don't know what the number is, but it's quite high. And then like for the class that's above Dread Knight, it's even higher. So to make that compatible with, we don't necessarily want heroes like to eclipse the voting power gained from the jeweler. And so like we'd have to really squish value down a lot. And I think the net result would be that like the floor heroes would have to be reduced significantly in terms of what their voting power would be, like down to 1 probably. Or if we could decimalize it, we'd maybe even need to go into the decimals to make it work and not eclipse the jeweler voting power side. So that was kind of a reason for saying, it's we probably shouldn't do that. We did think about it though. However, we do have other things that we're thinking of using hero score for. I don't have much I'll say about it right now, but I think perhaps in the next AMA we'll have more to say. Perhaps it kind of depends, but we might have more to say anyway.
Thank you very much. Next question is going to be for Zip. Big thank you and respect for the whole team behind DFK. Would it be possible to have some kind of alert in Discord when a wallet is using the emergency withdrawal function in the jeweler? The person thinks it would be cool just to see when, folks are kind of paper handing or, making crazy life decisions.
Yeah, thanks. I think that would be really interesting to see. Every now and then I get requests to, pull some logs and see when the last time that happened or how much it was or, whatnot. That said, so could we do it? Yes, definitely. Excuse me, we'd need to probably make a separate channel for it or something like that. And, just get that set up to watch the chain for those events and post stuff. I don't necessarily know that that's something we'll do. We do keep the burn numbers and supply numbers handy, but I don't know how much we specifically want to focus on highlighting that kind of thing necessarily. I know people want to celebrate what did you just say, Winston? The paper hands and the bad life decisions. So I don't know if that's what we want to, draw attention to necessarily. I don't know, maybe. That said, that sounds like a really great project for an enterprising third-party developer that would probably not be terribly difficult. I remember there used to be some discords that watched the decks and would post every time anybody bought or sold a certain amount, had like little whale watch stuff going on. So this is kind of a similar thing, but I think that would be cool to see. And some third-party dev probably has a setup for watching those events already and would be pretty easy to add to an existing data tracking site that they already have hash codes. So maybe somebody will take that mantle.
There you go. So enterprising third-party developer, we could not stop you, even if we wanted to. So the ball's in your court. Next question is going to be for Hubert. Why didn't Hubert take his shirt off in Decentraland?
Shame on me, right? I didn't know it was a requirement. I would have exposed my nips, I guess, if I had been told I have to, but I typically wear shirts, so didn't really think about it.
There you go. And nobody had to. Like it wasn't a requirement, you know. So I just want to, you know, nobody was required to take their shirt off. Okay, so don't put that on us. That didn't happen. Next question.
Says the guy who started it.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's how you know I'm innocent. Let's see. This one is brand spanking new. It's so brand spanking new, I did not put a name next to it. So both of you might need to listen up for this one. Is there an estimated time for when the guild weapons will be taken back? If not, what's the sequence plan for those to happen in their respective orders?
PvP release.
There you go. And let's see. Okay, so that's actually all of our questions from Discord. So we're going to hop over to the talk site and do some questions from there. I think, let's see. Here we go. There's one Excalibur looted with 35% Pierce bonus. Is that the max possible?
It sure is, and congrats to the person who got that.
Wow.
I will note that that bonus in particular does not have the same randomness chances as the rest of the ultra rare bonuses. It's twice as common, so it's like 0.1% chance to get versus 0.05% chance on the other ones. It's on the Excalibur in particular, that has 3 different bonuses that have ultra rares. So it's the easiest to get of the 3, but only by twice as much easy. So and easy is very relative in this case. So
Yeah, so instead of being like you have to get very, 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 very lucky instead of very, 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 very lucky. Is that the right amount? Probably. That's probably the right amount.
I'm really impressed, honestly. I know someone got the best bleed Goreblade recently, which was really cool. And I mean, Goreblade drop rate is way higher than Excalibur. So to see an Excalibur hit one of those max bonuses already is pretty cool.
Yeah, congratulations to the owner. Let's see. Next question is going to be for Hubert. In the past, Hubert has mentioned various things he wants ready before or shortly after PvP, such as pets and traits. As time has gone by, is there any more clarity on what may be out before PvP and what may lag after?
Yeah, so I mean, we're still planning on getting expeditions out first. Beyond that, it's really kind of being timed around PvP things. So as I mentioned that last question, we are planning to have the guild weapons go away from being just available in void hunts and making those weapons available just for purchase instead. So that would be one thing that's coming. And then when it comes to like pet bonuses and traits, those are also things that we're actively working on right now. In fact, I did have a nice little teaser that I asked SBD to prepare on the traits front as we're getting all the artwork and sound effects associated with them finalized at the moment. We did have one that we would share. I think it was for Deathmark. And I think he was going to post that in our Discord and the either AMA chat or general or both. So you can go see that wherever he posts it. But it's a neat. They're really cool. We're getting. I'm really excited for all of the animations that are coming out for that, the VFX and sound effects and everything. And Sashay is over there just stressing the balance testing of all of them right now, making sure that the slap-ometer is properly set for the traits, as that seems to be a community requirement. but yeah, so I mean, things are coming along. I think pet bonuses may end up being one that we're not able to fit in for the release of PvP, but I'm hopeful that traits will be, and if not, it will be not too far after the release of PvP. So, but I don't expect we'll be doing any big releases between expeditions and like our first phase of PvP.
Cool. If you want to pop into our Discord in the general, oh, never mind. No, just kidding. If you want to pop into the general channel of our Discord right now, SBD just posted that little leaked trait with sound too. Make sure you turn the sound on. He said don't tell anyone he posted it, but I was already I'd pretty much already told everybody, so I can't take it back. It was done. It was over. Don't forget to throw Frosty in the chat for a chance to win a Frost Bloater suit, head and body thing at the end of this. So don't forget, if you haven't done it yet, do it. We got a couple more questions. Next question, lost my place. Next question is going to be for Hubert. Would the team ever consider making the percent chance to hit your own teammate with Berserk scale off of a stat? Right now, it's just 80% chance to hit the enemies and 20% chance to hit the homies. What do you think about that, Hubert?
I think it's an interesting idea. I think that question included like an example of potentially having it scale off of intelligence score, which is kind of an interesting idea. I think maybe wisdom score would actually be more appropriate. But I think that's interesting. It's kind of, then it adds another like balancing angle that we have to think about, which is just more work. So I'm a little bit disinclined to acquiesce your request. But maybe I'll think about it.
There you go. You got a firm he'll think about it, which is, maybe. Well, I think that's all the questions we were gonna get to this week. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Any final thoughts from Zip or Hubert over there? We can start wrapping up. Dr. Zipper, you're going first.
Yeah, sure. I will just say, it's fun to be here. It's fun to hang out with you guys. I'm very excited about seeing expeditions getting closer to wrapping up. I'm also pretty excited about that PvP teaser trait teaser that we just posted. A lot of interesting stuff in there. So yeah, just happy to be here, happy to be developing and keep things moving, and yeah, that's it.
Just I'll echo Zip's sentiment. Like, very excited to be getting close to the finish line on expeditions. It's been a long time coming. We've been talking about it for a long time, and finally we can get the Wens will just transition to Wen Phase 2 on that. But hopefully we're getting 85% of the functionality there. So I think it should be pretty good. And it's going to be a system that evolves over time as we make changes once the traveling system comes out and things like that too. So it's not going to be the end of changes to the expedition system or anything like that. But definitely having it created and having the big chunk of legwork done will be very helpful for the future. So looking forward to that. And also, yeah, we're just moving right along with our PvP development. We have a lot more we'll have to say, I think, in the coming days and weeks and months. But we're really putting out great work. Our art team especially has been doing a lot of amazing things with preparing for that. Sam, our music composer, is also creating some really amazing tracks as well. So just very excited to be able to share these things when they come. And just excited for everything that we're building and what it means for the future. So I hope you all are excited as well. Thank you all for always tuning in. And I guess, yeah, we'll move over to this here drawing.
Frosty. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Super, super excited to be here talking to you guys. And I don't know. Bolon could miss it every week. I always have such a great time sitting in for him. It's nice to not have to do it every time, though. So let's spin this thing. I've never really done this before, so if it blows up, we'll try. We'll try again. Here we go. Oh, see, it's just working. We're good. Who's it gonna be? Chris Smith. Congratulations, Chris. If you are in our Discord, could you DM me, please? That would be great. Or maybe even chat here and say what your Discord name is so I can watch for you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, congrats, Chris Smith. I will get that out to you as soon as I hear from you. Yeah, and I guess that's gonna be the end of today's AMA. I'm kind of trying to drag this out to see if maybe Chris appears in the chat, but he's not. So I'll put that in general too. Yeah, well, thank you very much, everybody. I guess I'll bullish us out here. Super happy. Oh, CLS on Discord. All right, dude. I will find you. Thanks so much, everybody. Super happy to be a part of this team and super happy to be a part of this great community with some of the best players and some of the best people in crypto, and super grateful to be here and looking forward to the future. Thanks a lot, everybody. And that is why I am
Bullish.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.